Mondo, the same people who are just put out the brand new The Thing game, Infection at Outpost 31, announced recently at their convention that they are also working on a new Jurassic Park board game. It is called The Chaos Gene. Jurassic Park, the Chaos Gene, of course. We know very little about this game. The information that we have right now, it's some of the same people who worked on The Thing are working on it. It is a 4-player asymmetrical game, so everybody is a totally different role. And unlike, we've seen a couple other kind of dinosaur games in recent memory. The one that that was on Kickstarter, what was it called? Dinosaur Island or something?
Yes, that was one.
Which is more of a kind of like the Dino Tycoon take on it.
Yeah, I think the two that I recently brought up were both of that vein. This
one, at least from who your optional characters are to play as, sounds very different. The 3 choices they've told you can play as are InGen itself, so the company, InGen, park guests, or one of them is a group of raptors.
Now, so is this all competitive?
I don't think they specified, but it sounded like, yes, competitive. That's my guess. And they also said it's going to be based on the first movie, I think, which is interesting because they said park guests. In the first movie, there weren't really park guests, but I guess they mean
they could
kids.
They could also mean by first movie they want to set it around that time because that's one of the, I think, big hassles or joys of back during the 80s and 90s of these movies. It wasn't like, oh, hold on, let me take out my cell phone and internet.
Right, yeah. That could put a damper on things. So, I mean, what do you think? Playing those roles, how is that going to work? Because it's you're controlling a whole aspect of the game. It almost sounds more like a sim management style game, but you only have one aspect of the park.
Interesting because looking at those 3, you can sort of probably guess what their goals are. The park guests probably want to survive. Raptors want to eat everyone, and InGen wants to contain the situation, which is interesting to see how asymmetrical it is. However, also, I guess to me, one of the things I would like to see how they do, because part of InGen's sort of corruption of trying to obtain it is that the park guests aren't really know that. Like, you don't know how much they don't care, or they're just there for the gene or the company that's trying to steal the gene. So I'm curious to see how that can go through.
Like, how much will they interact on a direct level, if at all?
And I'm curious how different the asymmetrical can be, because that's very interesting and challenging to balance.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. But I definitely think that's the thing that's the only thing we know, but that's what makes this sound so interesting. That everybody has a very different goal, which is we've seen in board games before, but most of them are not like that, and it always is a very unique mechanic. What do you think? We know there's going to be at least one more option to play as. Is somebody just going to be a T-Rex? Will they have specific? Because right now it's all very general. Maybe there's a park staff. Maybe someone is just Dennis Nedry or something like that.
I definitely think one of the options is actually the rival company, because that would be a rival for the gene. T-Rex I could see more as more like a not really another player, but a sort of board-controlled
obstacle.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
The T-Rex was sort of a mess for everyone.
That makes sense. Yeah, it'd be the chaotic obstacle.
This is assuming they're only pulling from literally the first movie. Like, because when you first told me the title, The Chaos Gene, the first thing that actually came to mind was this is really only in the toys. But they did a toy line where it was like, things went crazy. This is a raptor with Stegosaurus, with like Archaeopteryx. Like, you never had these awesome weird fusions and stuff. So that's the first thing that came to mind. So I'm wondering whether they just said that because it sounded cool, or maybe that's why they haven't revealed the 4th, because it's like mutated or something weird like that.
Yeah, who knows? And there could be, they said it's 4 players, but maybe there's more than 4 options, which, although that seems like it would be really crazy, because if they're all asymmetrical, I don't know, that might be like
it's
expansion.
possible.
It's possible. Or maybe there's raptors or different kinds of dinosaurs that they all kind of play the same way, but they have just different stats or something like that.
Cthulhu Wars is pretty asymmetrical. They all have different weird abilities and miniatures and figures that all react differently. So maybe it's something like that.
Yeah, though I guess the way I was picturing it was much crazier, where you have a different board.
Yeah, I think this makes more sense of being more different than Cthulhu Wars, but it is possible. We've seen it. So.
Yeah. Well, it seems like it's really cool that Mondo is doing these games for, so far, 2 movies we really love from the 80s. So I wonder what they have in store for us next. If you enjoyed this video, it was just a snippet of our full-length podcast, which you can find on our YouTube channel every week. So please go ahead, like, and subscribe for more board game-related content coming at you in the future.
And don't forget to check out rollforcrit.com, where we actually sell a lot of the games we talked about, as well as post news and all our other videos. Until then, I'm Will Keeler.
I'm Jonathan Estes, and this is Roll for Crit.